The Young and the Restless Spoilers. A Mother's Blind Trust, the fallout between Jill and Billy Abbott. In the high-stakes world of corporate power plays, family loyalty often becomes entangled with personal ambitions, and nowhere is this more evident than in the recent turmoil between Jill Abbott and her son Billy. Jill, the matriarch of the Abbott Chancellor empire, has always been a force to be reckoned with. But her blind trust in Lily Winters and the mounting pressure from Billy's rebellious actions have pushed their mother-son relationship to the breaking point. The warning signs. For weeks, Jill had been receiving alarming reports about Billy's erratic behavior and the financial losses he was causing Chancellor Abbott. His impulsive decisions and personal vendettas were not only damaging the company's bottom line, but also straining the trust between him and those closest to him. While Billy had a knack for innovation and risk-taking, his reckless tendencies were beginning to outweigh the benefits. Chancellor was bleeding, and something needed to change. Jill had always believed in tough love, especially with Billy, but the severity of the situation left her with no choice but to intervene. She made the call, one that would set the stage for an explosive confrontation. The ultimatum. When Jill called Billy, she didn't mince words. She laid out her plan clearly. Lily Winters must return to Chancellor Abbott, and Phyllis Summers, who had been entangled in Billy's recent ventures, had to go. In Jill's eyes, Lily represented stability, loyalty, and a steady hand, someone who could steer the company through turbulent times. Phyllis, on the other hand, was seen as a wild card, someone who, despite her talents, was too unpredictable to be trusted in such a critical role. But Billy knew better. He had worked closely with Lily, and though she was competent, he had seen a different side of her. A more calculated, self-serving side that Jill refused to acknowledge. Billy knew that Lily was not the loyal soldier Jill believed her to be. And Phyllis, despite her flaws, had proven to be a valuable ally in navigating the storm Chancellor was facing. Still, Jill was adamant. She gave Billy an ultimatum: bring Lily back to Chancellor Abbott, or face the consequences. She would tolerate keeping Phyllis on board, but only if Billy complied with her demand to reinstate Lily. It was a decision that left no room for negotiation. The heated clash. The phone call between Jill and Billy quickly escalated into a full-blown argument. For Billy, it wasn't just about business. It was personal. He had worked hard to make his own mark, to prove that he could succeed without constantly being second-guessed by his mother. But Jill's ultimatum felt like a slap in the face, a signal that she still didn't trust him. Jill, for her part, couldn't understand why Billy was so resistant. To her, bringing Lily back was a no-brainer. Lily had a proven track record, and in Jill's eyes, she had always been someone who could be relied upon to put the company first. She couldn't see that Lily's ambitions might run deeper than simple loyalty. As the conversation grew more heated, emotions took over. Harsh words were exchanged, and both mother and son said things they would later regret. But in the moment, it felt like there was no turning back. Jill, in her frustration and anger, made a fateful decision. Billy and Phyllis were out, and Lily would take over as CEO. Lily's triumph, Billy's fall. Jill's decision marked a turning point, not just for Chancellor Abbott but for the Abbott family itself. For Lily, it was a moment of triumph. She had played her cards perfectly, positioning herself as the reliable, competent leader that Jill needed in a time of crisis. Her return to Chancellor Abbott was celebrated by some, but for Billy, it was nothing short of a betrayal. He had always known that Lily had her own ambitions, but he never expected that she would rise at his expense. The company he had poured his energy into was now being handed over to someone who, in his eyes, had manipulated the situation to her advantage. And worse, his own mother had been the one to pull the trigger. Jill, convinced she had made the right call, put her faith in Lily and pushed forward with her plan. But the decision came at a heavy price. The relationship between Jill and Billy was shattered. The trust that had already been fragile was now completely broken. Billy couldn't forgive his mother for choosing Lily over him, and Jill, blinded by her belief in Lily's loyalty, couldn't see the long-term damage she had done. A family torn apart. In the weeks that followed, tensions within the Abbott family only deepened. Jill, confident in her choice, threw herself into managing the company with Lily at the helm. But what she didn't realize, what she refused to see, was that Lily was playing a long game, one that didn't necessarily include Jill in the end. While Jill celebrated Lily's success, cracks were beginning to show. Lily's leadership was competent, but her true intentions were becoming clearer to those paying attention. She wasn't simply loyal to Chancellor Abbott, she was loyal to her own ambitions. And as her power grew, so too did the realization that Jill had been deceived. By the time Jill finally understood the full extent of the situation, it was too late. Lily had solidified her position, and Billy was gone. The Abbott-Chancellor empire had a new ruler, but the cost was the complete destruction of a mother-son relationship that had already been strained for years. Billy, disillusioned and hurt, had no intention of returning to the company or reconciling with his mother. The betrayal ran too deep, and the scars